in the brake class, but what I want to show you
Take the
is
pin out. Swinging and dropping down.
there we go. That's what we're doing. Basically, when your pad's worn, right, you're just gonna put a screwdriver, square key, half-inch wrench, whatever you want to do, and just pop it out.
Okay.
Those
cool.
pads will slide right out.
That's it.
Two-piece. Slide the new pads in, make sure they're all the way up forward, and then just snap this back into place.
Oh, wow, that's pretty
You're done.
easy
You don't
enough.
have to drop the whole pin out. Huh?
Now, to put in the new pads, you're going to have to widen them, of course, right?
Okay.
So this 24mm bolt right here, all you do is just turn this one or two
Right
turns,
there, right there.
and it'll separate those so you can get the new pads in.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now you can activate the brakes a couple times to get it to reclose, or you can use this and close it to where they're almost touching, and then it'll automatically adjust.
That's it.
Good.
So changing the brake pads in these things are sweet. It's a piece of cake. Now, as we look at this guy right here, this guy right here is my motor. I'm gonna go ahead and put my keys away real quick. I don't lose them. Sorry. All right, so this guy right here is my motor. As you can see, my motor has two brackets on the bottom and two brackets on the top. They're identical. The two on the top connect to this bracket up here. The two on the bottom have these arms that come up to this bracket. So the whole motor is attached to this bracket, which is floating on these baffles right inside here. These round system right here are called my birdhouses because they look kind of like a birdhouse, right? So basically, they're floating on here. What that does is that alleviates a lot of vibration from the truck going into the motor because it's floating, right? So another reason why our motors' lives are extended, you know,
On top of
years
the
instead
helical
of months.
spring, on top of the primary for the truck. Well, that's just for the motor. So
That's just for the motor.
Right.
That's just for the motor.
Right.
Now the axle, of course, is pressed through the gearbox into the wheels, and it basically is it's the whole truck frame itself is floating on top of the axle with the primary suspension springs above each one of the journal bearing caps, right?
So what about, you gotta do a measurement right here? Make sure that's not
You
touching?
mean this guy right here? Yes.
Yeah,
so
between here.
basically, this is my turning block, right? So it's when you're turning, it prevents this thing from getting jacked and pulled out of the boxes. Is what it's for. So you will do measurements in here. It's in the RMS. To replace it, you may have, when you get the new ones, this distance may be different or whatever. You might have to shim the backside.
So it's about that's supposed to be like an inch on both sides.
Exactly. Whatever the measurement is, you just follow that measurement. If you need to put in a couple of shims, put in a couple of shims.
Okay.
You'll have to do that with all of our stop blocks though. Turning blocks, everything. So you'll have to measure the distance and then put in the shims as required.
Okay.
It's not too hard though. Our gearbox right here has a sight glass right here. Real simple. Right here is my drain. This is, of course, is my full level. So to take this bolt out, you're gonna fill up. When the oil comes out, boom,
it don't take much
it's full.
oil, does it? Well, it don't take a high level of oil. It doesn't take.
It does. It takes basically about this much oil in here.
That's
That bull gear comes down to right about here.
Oh, okay, so
It comes down
pulls it up
really
and
close.
moves it up over the
Exactly.
gear.
It'll pull it up. It'll mix it up with the pinion gear, and then when we get on the back side back here, you'll see the pinion gear has, or the pinion gear side of it has two hoses that are going to drain back into the those two ones right there will drain the oil from the pinion gear back into the gearbox. That's these guys right here. These
Right
two
behind
hoses
you.
right here. Yeah, and that's where the fill is, by the way, guys. If you look on the side,
That's what the fill is for.
that's the oil fill.
Okay.
If you look on that, you can. I know you probably see that. I was gonna say it right here too.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is what's going to drain the oil from the pinion gear back into the gearbox. These two hoses, and then this is the fill.
Gotcha.
Okay. So what we have right above me
What's the
is
coupler? What's the coupler for the motor then? Right here.
actually there's two couplers for the motor. When we go through the motor class,
Okay.
I'll explain how they're actually put together. It's a lot easier to see on the PowerPoint than it is here because we got these shields.
Okay.
These shields pretty much block everything. You can't really see a whole lot.
Yeah, those things ain't okay.
Yeah. This guy right here, of course, is my kingpin. As you can see, on normal locomotives, the kingpin actually comes down and goes through a bearing in the trucks. Ours doesn't. Our kingpin is mounted to the car body. It comes down and it goes through the truck, and it has a black round pin right here that keeps it from coming out. To remove that pin, you're just going to remove these little plates on the side right here and slide it out. Real simple. Disconnect these guys right here, take this pin out, and you'll be able to lift it. As you can see, we've got these bumpers front and back, and we also got them on side to side. That takes up the acceleration, deceleration, and side to side motion.
Side to side now.
And they're very heavy. We use a crane to actually install them. They're that heavy. But they have to take up a lot of pressure, you know, acceleration, deceleration. All right, and then of course you got the horizontal dampers that basically they help prevent you know, side to side sway and all that.
Right.
Well, the nice thing about having the kingpin down through the middle of the truck, floating like that, it alleviates vibration from the truck wheels and such from going back into the car body, giving you guys a much smoother ride.
So basically, it's just a damper. What do you take to disengage? What do you use to disengage the car body from the truck? Like, you know, we usually lift like the car body off the truck.
Yeah.
And the motor stay. The motor stay in. You know.
No.
And the motor stay in the truck.
Well,
you ever
that's true,
take
yes.
the car body off the truck?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what do you disengage for that?
Well,
on
okay.
this truck.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
2 air lines on both ends of the truck.
Same thing. Right.
The three cables for each motor. So 3 cables there, 3 cables here. Right?
Right.
And a couple of sensor plugs.
That's it.
And then
Yeah,
pull
that's
this
not a
pin
lot.
out and undo these two.
All right, right. Okay.
Now there's also 2 dampers on both sides. You saw them when you walked around. There's a horizontal one.
Yeah.
And then there's a vertical one that goes straight up.
Yeah.
Undo those. Lift the car body off.
Yeah, it may sound like the same kind of thing except for this.
Yeah, it's up the under, right? Under, you just got to worry about what the handbrake wires.
Yeah, and the center pin.
Yeah, and center pin. Yeah.
It's more like a center pin.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
All right, here's my clean tread brake scrubber. Right here. Now, as you can see right up here, this is the back side of the motor. So the motor has a basically a pivot pin on the back, and it's got those 4 mounts on the front.
Yeah, I see this lock-in pin here too. So you would take this out, slide this out, and drop this down?
You could, yes.
Okay.
Not easily, but yes, you could.
Well, I mean, to take it, no.
Undo the couplings.
Yeah.
Undo the couplings.
Yeah.
Undo the back pin. Undo
Right.
the 4 in the front, and theoretically you could use a drop table and drop the motor down.
Okay. Yeah, well, that might.
Except you have no room here, so I.
Right.
You're gonna do it.
No, not here. We'll do it on the floor. On the floor. Right?
Okay.
But that would probably be one way. But that's what we're gonna go over. But that's not necessarily in the manual to drop a motor. Is it another way to take the motor out?
Usually we say detruck it.
Oh yeah, well.
The easiest way to get to everything on the motor is to detruck it.
Well, I was saying, once
Especially
you get
to
the
take
pin
off
out,
the- especially
once
to
you
take
get
off
the pin
these
out, we
guys.
detruck it and everything.
Right.
We would drop it like this.
You
Right?
could, or you
Okay.
could lift the truck off the top. Either way.
Oh.
We raise the motors
Oh,
up
oh.
underneath the truck and
Yeah.
mount them.
Yeah, well, we take the trucks off, really. But we have to unmount them. We don't have to unmount the motors from the trucks. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
We have to mount the motors from the trucks, and
Yes.
then we lift the trucks up and off.
It's just
But
another.
you don't have to do that first.
Huh?
You don't have to disconnect the motors from the trucks first.
Oh, we don't.
Just the electrical. Just undo the electrical. The motors come out with the trucks.
Okay.
And then you take the truck off to the side, and you can use a lift table to drop the motor out or pull the motor out of the top.
Okay. Well, we'll see about this.
Yeah. However you guys end up doing it.
Is this
Yes.
another thing you have to worry about for as gap? Make sure it's not sitting.
No. This
Okay.
is just really a safety block. If a coupler fails, it prevents the motor or the gearbox from
Dropping.
spinning around.
Okay.
You know,
All
because the gearbox is attached to what? The axle.
Right. Right.
The last thing you want is that thing rotating and coming down and catching something on the tracks or whatever.
Right. Okay.
That'd be nasty.
Very.
In Florida, we had one gearbox that got this whole corner shaved all the way up to the brass part here. Shaved this whole thing down, and they couldn't figure out what was doing it, right? So they ended up installing cameras underneath here and having a guy sitting with a monitor up there in the fireman seat.